Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Dee, and today we are doing my March reading wrap up. So I did manage to read 7 books in March, and I had 1 DNF, which is okay. I'm trying to get better about letting myself do that instead of forcing myself through something I'm not enjoying and putting myself into a slump. So I'm okay with that. But I felt like I was all over the place with my reading this month. I would pick things up, put it down, start something else. And honestly, it's a miracle I finished this many books. I was participating in Realmathon by Covers with Cassidy. I will link that down below. It is over for this year, but she does it every year, so in case you're interested for next time. I was part of Team Shadow, so most of these books have black covers. I was trying to earn extra points for that competitive-based readathon. So the first book I'm going to talk about is my DNF, and that is Sharp Objects by Gillian Flynn. I couldn't do it. This seems like something I would enjoy. We're following Camille. She is a reporter who's from this small town, and when young girls start getting killed in that town, her boss sends her there to report on the story. And I only got 33 pages into this, and it was a struggle to get that far. Again, I don't know if it was just the mood I was in with reading, or if it was because I was kind of under the weather. I'm recovering from a hip surgery from a couple weeks ago, so I've been kind of just off, so I have no idea. I am just soft DNFing this for now. I feel like I would enjoy this, so I do want to give it another try, but just right now I cannot do it. On to the books I actually did read. So the first one I have here is Siege and Storm by Leigh Bardugo. This is book 2 in the Shadow and Bone trilogy. So in this one, we are following Alina and Mal, who are on the run from the Darkling, who wants to use Alina for her powers. And Alina is trying to balance gaining more power with not wanting to become like the Darkling or be used by him. It's kind of all I can say without giving away too much of the plot. It was okay. I gave this a 3-star. I didn't enjoy it as much as the first one, but I enjoyed it enough to continue on in the series and see how it concludes. I found myself getting frustrated with Alina and her choices. I felt like she was going down a road of being pretty selfish and not really thinking through the decisions she was making. So it was just overall kind of frustrating to read this, and it is a long book, and it felt like it. The next one is Darcy Coates' The House Next Door. This is a horror, haunted house, ghost type story, very typical of that genre. I do enjoy Darcy Coates' writing. In this, we are following Jo, who is a single woman who just wants to live a quiet life by herself. She's been through a lot of family drama, and she lives next door to this haunted house. And everyone on the street knows that it's bad news, to the point where they all like close their curtains that face that house. They want nothing to do with it. And when the residents flee in the middle of the night, there's gunshots going off. Nobody even calls the cops because they're kind of done with this house. But Jo gets concerned when a new resident moves in. Her name is Anna. She's another young single female, and she befriends her to kind of learn more about her, more about the house. She informs Anna, about the history of the house, and Anna seems unfazed. We kind of learn why she's willing to put up with it pretty early on in the book, but I still don't want to spoil it. Things start going bump in the night, and things go wrong, and Jo is trying to help Anna navigate those things that are coming up. I will say that, again, this is very, very typical of this type of story. Like, there's nothing overly surprising in it, but there is something that Jo and Anna do that I was not expecting. I didn't see it coming. So it is a fun read. It's a quick read. And again, I do enjoy Darcy Coates. I gave this a 3.75. Next, I read The Fury by Alex Michaelides. This is a whodunit, secluded island mystery. A central friend who is a celebrity invites a bunch of other friends to this island, and again, they are secluded. There's a storm, and somebody is killed on the island. So you know that whoever did it is, in fact, one of the friends that she invited. We are being told this story by Elliot, who at the very beginning of the book, so it's not really a spoiler, tells you he is going to be unreliable, he is going to elaborate, he's going to jump back and forth between events, and so you can't really trust what he's telling you. I very much enjoy our narrator, Elliot. I think he is comical, but also kind of dark and twisty, and I enjoy how this is written like if you're in the theater listening to the monologue of a tragedy being told to you, that's how this reads, and I do very much enjoy that. It's a very specific type of writing style that I don't know that everyone would enjoy. I thought this would be a 5-star for me until like the 200-page mark. It's not a very long book. By that time, I felt like I kind of saw the ending coming, and I really hoped that there would be some kind of twist or it wouldn't be what I thought, but I was right. So it was a little too transparent for me. I did very much enjoy this. I think it's a very good time. Again, I love the writing style and Elliot, our narrator, and it is a quick read. I finished this in a couple of hours, but for me, it went from a 5-star to a 3.75. I just couldn't get over the fact that it was too predictable for my tastes. Next, we have God Killer by Hannah Kaner. So this is a fantasy novel. The second one just came out. I think it's going to be a trilogy. I could be wrong. And in this, we are following, I think, 4 main POVs. And one of those is our main female protagonist, who is Kissin. And she is the God Killer. She witnesses and goes through horrible things in her childhood due to the gods, which is why she took on this profession. And she is very rough around the edges with little tiny glimpses of softer sides of her. I do enjoy her character a lot. She ends up essentially tasked with taking care of a young girl named Anara, who is somehow tied to a god. So Kissin can't kill this god or separate it from her without hurting Anara as well. So they go on this quest to figure out how this happened and how to break that connection between the two so they can lead separate lives. Along the way, we meet quite a few characters. One of them is a knight named Elagast. He's probably my favorite character out of everyone, and he is on his own separate mission, and he decides to kind of team up with them and help protect Anara as far as he can. Really great character interactions and a lot of character development. For how short this book is, there's a lot of like progression within the characters. My complaint about it is we don't see it all. It's kind of just like one day somebody is able to do something they didn't do before. It's kind of like assumed that this is happening instead of us being shown it, and I don't really like that. I hope that there's more elaboration on it in the future books, but the character interactions are fantastic. I do really, really enjoy our main characters, and I'm looking forward to reading the next one. I already have it on my shelves, and I ended up giving this a 4-star. Next, we have What Moves the Dead by T. Kingfisher. I've talked about this a few times already, so I do like this. It is a retelling of The Fall of the House of Usher by Edgar Allan Poe, and it is a very, very short horror novel, and we are following Alex, who receives a letter from a friend. The friend is not doing very well, and Alex wants to travel to them to see what is going on. It doesn't really make sense to Alex. So on the way to the estate, Alex runs into a botanist, I believe. That could be the wrong term, but that is studying the fungi in the area, which play a huge role in the book, so I won't talk about it too much. But it does add to the very creepy atmosphere of the story and of the setting. And as Alex arrives to the estate, we realize the whole place is falling apart, it's in disrepair, and the people are pretty much in the same state. So Alex knows something deeper and more sinister is going on, and Alex is trying to get to the bottom of it. This book gives the feeling like there's bugs crawling on your skin. Is the best description I have for it. So if you enjoy that creepy crawly type horror, you would enjoy this book. I ended up giving this a 4-star. Next, I read a graphic novel, Something is Killing the Children, and this is volume 1. This is a horror graphic novel. I think the title gives that away. Very short. It's hard for me to rate this because we just get such a short snippet of the story, but I'm going to say a 4. I've read a few volumes now at this point, and I am really enjoying it. In this first one, we are introduced to Erica, who is a monster hunter, and she is trying to protect the children. Monsters are targeting, killing, maiming these children in these small towns, and she is there to put a stop to it. And she's also having to fight local authorities because the adults can't see the monsters, they don't believe in them, and so she gets a lot of pushback for that. I am very much enjoying this, like I said. I'm a few volumes in, so if it sounds like something you're interested in, I do recommend you pick it up. And our last one, and this was by far my favorite read of the month. I ended up giving this a 5-star. This is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. I also picked this up because it has a name in the title, which worked for Buzzwordathon by Books and Lala. Again, I'll link that down below. In this, we are following Addie. And Addie is born in the late 1600s, and when she's in her 20s, she makes a decision that leads to her being essentially cursed to be forgotten. And so anytime she meets someone, as soon as they walk away or they close a door or somehow that eye line is severed, they completely forget she exists. So she has to learn to navigate in that world where she can't own a home, have a job, earn money, anything like that. And given the time she was born, by the time she's cursed, it's the early 1700s where women were basically possessions. She couldn't really be by herself respectfully, quote unquote, in public anyway. So she had a lot to navigate. And we are jumping back and forth in time in this story between the 1700s and 2010, 2015 kind of time. And I appreciate how V. Schwab correlated those jumps in time. So if we were in the 1700s and Addie was going through a certain experience trying to learn how to handle it, the next time we flash to the future, she's handling a similar situation, and we see how much she's grown in her ability to manage that. She lives through multiple wars and famine and, economic crises. She's been to like every continent, and she's lived this amazing but very difficult life. And because she can't be remembered, everything's very superficial. She can't build friendships or relationships. And you can tell that definitely like eats away at Addie, but she does find a way to kind of leave her mark on the world. She finds little loopholes that allow her to be remembered in some way. But again, nobody remembers her face or her name or anything like that. And then she meets Henry. And this is not a spoiler, it is on the back, but Henry can remember Addie. And we don't know why that is at first. But he is also struggling with feeling like he isn't loved or wanted or appreciated for who he is. And so it is very heartfelt. It pulls on your heartstrings, and it's just very beautiful writing. And I appreciate the look into just that innate human desire of, love and wanting to be remembered. I very, very much enjoyed this book, and I highly recommend it if you have not read it. Again, I gave this a 5-star. That is everything that I read in the month of March, and if you are still here, I appreciate you so much, and please do like and leave a comment below if you read any of these books or if you plan to, if you have opinions on them, whether they're the same as mine or different. I would love to hear about that, and I hope to see you guys in the next video. Bye.